Hello and welcome to Fifth and Grace. Whew, so much is happening. Last week I recorded a video asking if we would get a 2024 election in Canada. And the cards were like, it's not looking like it. While I was recording that video, something very interesting was happening within the world of Canadian politics. And I know if you're not into this, this might be a little bit boring, but if you're concerned about your life and your rights and your freedoms and what your life will look like over the next 10 years, what the lives of your children and grandchildren will look like. You know, people say, I'm not political. And it's like, well, you might not be interested in politics, but politics is very interested in you. So, certainly this is a time when I'm seeing more and more people getting engaged, which is why, not engaged to be married, but engaged in politics and starting to pay attention, which is why these things are coming up in terms of tarot readings. So while I was doing that reading last week, asking if we were going to get a 2024 election, I had no idea, and it sort of found out after the fact, that 30 to 40 Liberal MPs are creating a petition basically telling Justin Trudeau he needs to step down. So our question today is, what's the energy around him? And do we see anything that indicates he may actually step down? Personally, I don't think he will. 30 to 40 MPs is not a majority of the party. So, you know, those MPs might run into some issues. And I was reading the one of the newspapers, the Toronto Sun, and there was an editorial about this. And there was a part that I thought was really interesting. So I'm going to read it to you, and then we're going to dive into this reading. You see, I even printed it so I can read it to you. It was the brilliant Florentine diplomat and political strategist Niccolo Machiavelli who advised courtiers 5 centuries ago in his famous political treatise, The Prince, that if they wanted to kill the king, they best not miss in their first attempt. As Machiavelli warned, men ought either to be well treated or crushed, because they can avenge themselves of lighter injuries, of more serious ones they cannot. Therefore, the injury that is to be done to a man ought to be of such a kind that one does not stand in fear of revenge, meaning you better kill the king the first time. By contrast, according to reports that first appeared in the Toronto Star, whoever in the Liberal caucus is behind this attempt to force Trudeau to resign as PM is already terrified of what Trudeau and the Prime Minister's office will do to them. So, yeah, I think that what 30 to 40 Liberal MPs are doing will cause them a whole world of pain. I don't think that Justin Trudeau will remove them. He's not going to kick them out of the party because he needs their votes. Otherwise, he won't have a collective majority to block anything that the Conservatives try to do. So let's see what the energy is around him. That's your political update for the day. I would love to say for the week, but things happen every single day here. It is very hot and spicy in our Canadian Parliament these days. There's a guy who does great commentary on it and shows lots of clips and videos, House of Canada. I've been following him, and he keeps everybody well up to date on what is happening in a very fun way. We're all having a good time chatting while his live streams are going on. But if you visit his page, you'll see that there's all kinds of videos where he'll take a snippet of something that happened on a particular topic and then do commentary about it and sort of break it down and explain it. So super handy to have people who can do that, because Parliament is boring. You know, it's a bunch of old people yapping about who knows what. So it is boring. So we just need the important bits, right? We don't need to hear everything, just the important bits. Ooh, the cards are a little finicky today. There we go. Now they're warming up. It's the day after Thanksgiving. It's a gorgeous sunny autumn day, so I am enjoying that. I've already been out and about to run some errands, and now I'm getting some videos filmed. So here we are. There we go. All right. Now the cards feel ready. All right. Let's see what we have. The 9 of Swords in reverse. And for these readings, I am reading reversals. And because we do need to know what the energy is, especially with people we aren't in the same room as. And what I do is I look up the dates to see if there's any dates that might align with the question or what might be coming up. The dates are usually quite accurate. So what we're looking for is what's coming up for this year. And this card, the dates are for the summer, so there's no connection. But what the Nine of Swords is about is like the light at the end of the tunnel, I guess is a good way of putting it. That you know, when it's upright, it's all about fear and worry and anxiety and, you know, losing sleep over things and thoughts running. But in reverse, it's about almost the opposite, which is letting go of the negativity and the light at the end of the tunnel and having some hope. So yeah, maybe there is something hopeful coming. Judgment. Well, we know there is this legal battle thing going on where we have the Green Slush Fund is being investigated by the RCMP because people who were appointed or assigned to oversee this sustainable fund, it was like, they just call it the Green Slush Fund, but it has an actual real name. And our federal police is looking into it as a criminal investigation because the people who were appointed to oversee this fund managed to put $400 million of it into their own bank accounts and businesses and things like that. So it would be a fund where basically they would pay a company to do whatever they do. But in this case, the MPs who had and the people assigned to this who had businesses that could be paid to do this kind of thing, they were paying themselves. So a huge conflict of interest and apparently a criminal thing, and the government's refusing to cough up the documentation to prove that they didn't do that, which kind of says they did. And now they're just trying to cover it up and figure out how to cover it up. But so our judgment card is in reverse, interestingly enough, is about self-doubt and malicious gossip and lack of self-awareness. As we know, our prime minister has an incredible lack of self-awareness. He gets told to his face, the whole country hates you. And he's like, no, that's not true. And it's like, yeah, a little bit. There's some stuff coming to the surface here. I think a lot of people are being awakened by what's going on. And it's easy as Canadians to have been as non-political as we have been for as long as we have been. It wasn't until the last 4 or 5 years that people really started to wake up to what's going on. So I think this is you know, a lot of people are opening their eyes to who Justin Trudeau is, what he stands for, why he's doing what he's doing. And just the evil that he is bringing to Canada and what is happening. I always say, I start off saying I'm going to be completely neutral in these videos, and it's impossible. It is absolutely impossible to be neutral, but I'm being honest in like what I'm seeing. I'm not, you know, be like, oh, I'll make it mean something. But it definitely is, about a new and changing situation. So he is aware of this new and changing situation. He survived a couple non-confidence votes in the last few weeks. Right now, the Bloc Québécois has him up against the wall, but I think they're not. I think they'll just back down. I don't think they're actually serious about what they're talking about. And so then I guess he went off on his holiday or whatever it was that he was doing, Justin Trudeau, that is. And now this is happening while he's gone. So he's being made aware of things that are going on behind the scenes, all the sneaky deaky business that's happening while he's away. This attempted palace coup, as we may call it, to see what exactly is coming up. But it's definitely like waking up to a new or changing situation. And I think that this is spot on for him, because I don't think it occurred to him that his own party would start turning against him. And if there's 30 to 40, I'm going to bet there's a lot more who aren't willing to put their name on it, but may someday put their name on it. Oh, the King of Pentacles, our King of Pentacles. Ooh, wait. All right, I'm just looking up for timing here to see what we've got. No timing, but definitely He thinks he's the king of the world. He thinks he's king of Canada. And we know that because we saw what he did with our Canadian passports, and he just kind of made himself the king of Canada, which was really weird. I think he forgets that we are a colony, that we are part of the British Empire, and that he's not the king, that we have a king. And whether we like that or not, we have a king. So he's definitely in the energy of confidence and not feeling, I think he thinks he's bulletproof. I think he thinks he's Teflon. Teflon Trudeau, there we go. And that he's just sitting, comfortable, reigning over everybody, totally forgetting that they elected him. And I didn't say everybody, not everybody elected him. I think 19% of the population of Canada elected him. So let's not kid ourselves here. It wasn't a landslide. But he's very smug, and he feels like he's accomplished a lot and that he's still going to accomplish a lot. Oh, the arrogant, smug energy coming off this man is it's just a little bit gross. It's really, really gross. And he thinks he's an emperor. He really does. He thinks he's an emperor. The Three of Swords, he's definitely feeling betrayed right now. He's really feeling like the people in the party who are turning on him and want him to resign. And the reason they want him to step down as prime minister and the leader of the party is because they know if there's an election this year, they're not getting elected. And most of them will not get elected. And there probably won't even be a Liberal Party by the end of it. It's definitely, they will lose their party status for sure. I'm fully confident on that. I don't need to do a reading on that. There will be so few Liberal seats that they won't actually have a party. But he's definitely starting to feel betrayed. But I think, what the message that just came in is he's feeling betrayed, but he doesn't know why they're doing this. He doesn't understand why. He's so dumb and lacks so much self-awareness that he doesn't actually understand why his party is turning on him and not be going along with him and propping him up. He can understand why the others are, because that's their job. The other parties are meant to fight against him and meant to argue with him, but he doesn't get why his own party's doing that. And yeah, so he's starting to feel a little betrayal for sure. And then strength. And what's interesting? There's no timings attached to any of these cards, which is really bizarre because usually almost every card I'll pull will have a timing attached to it. So this is self-doubt, weakness, low self-esteem, feeling inadequate. I don't know if he's quite there yet. I think that through our betrayals and being stabbed in the heart and, basically people turning on him, he might start to feel this way, but I'm not sure that he's normal enough. I think that he's like, this sociopathic, psychopathic energy about him will not actually allow that to happen. And I mean, we know he's a narcissist. There's no doubt about it. I should just do a whole tarot channel on narcissists. Goodness, that would keep me occupied for the rest of the year, wouldn't it? But he's definitely a narcissist. And there's this, like, he's feeling like he just needs to dig deep into his own inner power to overcome all of this. And if he just stands strong, he'll get there. He'll be fine. Everything will be fine because he's made a commitment to the young people of Canada, and he's going to see it through. So yeah, there's definitely, I think maybe deep down he might have a little diarrhea just because it's upsetting to him that people aren't responding the way he wants them to. Now remember, with a narcissist, it's like when you get angry at them, the problem is never what they did. The problem is your emotional reaction to things. That's what they make the problem. So he's probably feeling like, why are people not responding the way I need them to respond? And that may be causing a little diarrhea. I can't believe I just said that. And our Nine of Pentacles, he thinks he is planting seeds. He thinks he is the savior, the absolute savior of the world. Like he thinks that Canadians are prosperous because of him. He thinks that the country is prosperous because of him. But this complete lack of self-awareness it just doesn't allow him to see that our country's been decimated because of him. Like the things that are going on. We didn't have the situations that we have now prior to the last election. We had some of them, but not to the extent that we do now. And we certainly, I don't remember seeing the amount of homeless encampments everywhere. Like people think it's specific to where they live. No, it is everywhere across the country. So there's a lot of problems. And he really truly believes when he stands there saying like employment is up, interest rates are down, affordability is up, we're giving everybody free breakfast at school, but he really believes what he's saying. And he thinks that he is the savior of Canada. The Hermit. Oh, wow. He has been quiet lately. Did you see his interview about India? Yeah, that was a bit of a disaster. He really needs to do some self-reflection. I don't know if he's capable of that, but I think that if he was a normal person and not someone with personality disorders, if he was a normal person, and this is all allegedly for entertainment purposes only, we're just playing with pretty cards and telling stories. If he was a normal person who had normal reactions and responses to things and cared about what people think and all that kind of stuff, he would be taking some time for self-reflection. He would do the right thing for the country, not the right thing for him. But he'll always do the right thing for him. So really what he needs to do is take some time for some contemplation and lead with his heart. But I don't know that he has one. He could be the Tin Man for all we know. He is a bit stiff, isn't he? But there's definitely, he does need to do this. I don't think he will. I absolutely don't think he will. And the Nine of Wands, of course. Woo, dodging. Things are not going well. Things are not going well. No, they are not. And still, you know what? No significant timings here. Oh, this one, December 3rd to 12th. December 3rd to 12th. And this is when I've said that we will have a new prime minister. I've been saying this for a long time, that we will actually have an election in December. Interesting. Well, we're going to see how it goes. Because if an election was called today, that would take us to the end of November. But I don't think it will be called today. So what happens if the government collapses? Then there's a whole little bit of a process that has to be done that might take a couple days. And then we get an election announced. So if we had an election announced at the end of October, we would have a new prime minister about 6-7 weeks later. And that would take us into December. So let's keep an eye on this one, this December 3rd to 12th number. Interesting that nothing else really had any significant timings attached, and then we get one out. So this is ongoing battles. He feels he just needs to persist and persevere. He thinks he's close to success in everything, but what we know is he's in battle. He is embattled himself. And look at, I'm going to hold this card up higher so that you can see, there's a lot of ammunition being shot at him. And he's pumping out a lot of ammunition himself. So, and he just looks like he's lost his power. And he does, it's interesting. Like, I love, like, he's all, bandaged up, like he's been to war. And he is at war right now. And we know that we are in a spiritual war around the world. So this is definitely showing that he's feeling embattled. I think he feels like every single day he wakes up and it's just a new fight with a new opposition MP or something like that. So, but definitely some embattled energy here. And our Seven of Cups. Let's see what the timing is here. November 13th to 22nd. Oh, so we could have some stuff coming up here. There, okay, the energy of this is having choices, having opportunities, having to make decisions, wishful thinking, all like look at all the choices in front of her. Look at all the choices. There should be just one. but that's it. So it looks like towards the end of November and into December, we're going to have some choices to make, and we're going to have some decisions to make. Interesting. Very, very interesting. What do you think? Do you think he's going to step down? Let's check the last cards. The Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords, looking up the timing here, is next year. So it doesn't, yeah, this isn't really going to matter. But it's about feeling trapped and imprisoned and restricted and powerless and your hands tied. And that is exactly how it has been for Justin Trudeau, because he didn't have a majority government. So he had to fight for every single thing that got through and had to get the NDP on board. So to vote along with him. And then they've torn up that contract, but are still voting with him. I don't know. I don't get it. But definitely he feels trapped right now. He feels trapped. Yeah, like he's in a trap. And it's circling around him. Like it's literally like everything is closing in around him. But he can't figure out why. This is the thing. He's too stupid to figure out why. And so he doesn't know why this is happening, because he thinks he's wonderful and everyone in the party's telling him he's wonderful, and that's the only people he listens to. So he has no idea how unwonderful he is. So there we have it. It feels like it's closing in for him. We have another week of Parliament coming up, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the Bloc. Do you think that they're going to stick to their commitment to tear down the government if they don't get their way? Do you think we're going to get an election? Do you think he's going to step down to save the party? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to click the like button, click subscribe so you never miss a thing. And of course, all my links are in the description so you can reach out to me easily. I look forward to chatting with you. Have a magical day.